Welcome back to the What Are You Made Of podcast with your boy, Mike C-Roc. So thankful that you're joining us. So thankful for your support of the Waymo movement. Appreciate all of you, all of your feedback, and just always want to start the show with gratitude just to really express that. I'm thankful for all of you, and I love all of you. And just wanted to bring a great guest on again today. I have my friend Daniel Alonzo. He's the host of the Wealth on the Beach podcast. He's also in financial services, investments and insurance, and teaches people how to get residual income and maybe become financially free like he has since he was 28 years old, which I'm going to let him get into that as we proceed here. But Daniel, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, Mike, man. Glad to be with you. I'm excited to have this conversation, man.
Well, listen, we have a routine here, and we talk about the dominating rule and the number one rule of the Waymo movement, which is to turn all setbacks, letdowns, anything that appears negative into rocket fuel for your future. And once you get this into your head and understand how this works, your life will never be the same. You handle things way better, way more better, and you produce way more than you ever thought you could in your life. And so with that being said, and the history of the What Are You Made Of movement, we always ask, Daniel, what are you made of?
I think mental toughness, man, is what's kept me, in the game for as long as I've been in the game. I started at 21. Everybody told me no. Everybody told me it wasn't going to work. Everybody told me I was crazy. Everybody told me it was a scam and a pyramid and it'll never, pan out. And you need to stay in college and you need to go to school and get a good education and get benefits and all that shit. And I just, for some reason, I think I'm made of like mental toughness. I just, from a young age, I was able to overcome a lot of, people telling me what I couldn't do. And it kind of made me want to do it even more, Mike.
So let's dig deeper on that. Because that's what we want to know about. Like, give us some examples of that when you were younger. Like, what did you have to convert into rocket fuel for yourself?
Well, I had a lot of friends, man. I was 21. I was young. So, of course, everybody was telling me, including my dad, my stepfather. He had a master's degree, student of the year, USC, one of the smartest, greatest guys that I know. And he thought I was crazy too, because he wanted me to go the conservative route. And, you go to school, get a good job, get a 401k, get all that stuff. And I was just like this person from a young age too. I tried different little things, and I remember spending $300 to buy this like kit on, not online, but some mailer or something like that. This is how long it's been. There was no online back then. And I spent $300 of my own money. I'm probably like 16 years old to try to go sell this product to teachers. And it was called Child Shield. And like, if your kid got, kidnapped, they would go on this big old thing and help you get your kid back. And I was just like, I was just trying to be successful, man.
Right,
I just wanted to do something. And then, but then, this business came around and I said, I'm all in, man. Like, again, I was like, I'm going to do this, and I just, and everybody told me no, man. Everybody was like, my best friend. We almost got in a fight, me and my buddy. We were best buddies, man. We did everything together during high school, and we got out and, I was wanting to try something new, and I didn't want to stay in college. I quit college. I was playing baseball, hurt my knee, came back home, wanted to quit college. I did quit college, and I said, I'm going to go into business. And they all laughed at me, man. They told me I was a for quitting college and giving up on, but I did it anyways, man.
So you're in the same business as you were back when you were 21?
Yeah.
Same exact business.
Same
Gotcha.
exact. Yep.
Gotcha. And just a real quick note on that. I remember when I was first starting to sell, I was about probably 8 years old, and I lived on a golf course. And I would go in the pond and take the golf balls and go sell them to the golfers. I would get chased around by the owner of the golf course. He would come out of his cart and I'd be running all that. It's crazy. But that's how I got my entrepreneurial spirit. So the business that you're in, first of all, I understand that since you're 28 years old, you've been able to do pretty much what you want to, but how did that get started and how much did it cost you as far as financial and then time at first? and to really get ramped up?
Well, financial, it cost me almost nothing. It cost me about $1,000 to get my licenses. I think it was like $1,300 to get all my license, my state licenses. And other than that, there was no overhead, because it's a service product. So, I don't need $1 million of life insurance in my garage to sell you $1 million of life insurance. So it was perfect for me. I was making $7 an hour at my job at the time. So I did it part-time, right? I was just trying to figure this thing out. I was trying to build a team. I was trying to recruit and train other people and of course, get my skill down. I had no skill, never sold anything in my life, never really, sold, at least well, I never sold anything, never made any money. And I said, you know what, I'm going to give it a shot and I'm going to try. And so I was part-time for about almost a year. And then I went full time, and it took me a couple of years to get over $100,000 in income. And then once I got over 100 grand, it just popped. I mean, I'm not kidding. It just popped for me. So
there's always that moment, and you just
really
got to kind of push towards it. You don't know when it's going to happen, but there's always that snowball moment.
Yeah,
that
was it. It was that moment. I made 100 grand, and then I started going, oh shit, man, I never made this much money in my life. I mean, think about this, Mike. I was making $14,000 a year, and I popped to 100 grand. I mean, that's like a massive, and so, but then the next year I made 170,000, and the next year I made 250. The next year I made 350. The next year I made almost $500,000. And all the while I was investing, I was saving, I was getting solid financially. And, I was taking advice on how to invest. People were telling me how to invest and where to put my money and how to grow it faster. And there was a point in time where I was making 100% a year on my money in returns. And my money was just doubling, compounding really, really fast. But I was staying very lean though, man. I mean, I was making $300,000 a year, and I was driving around a $10,000 Maxima. So everybody was telling me to buy a big car.
Yeah, let's talk about that. About that. Where did you have that imprinted into your mind to do that? Because most people, when they start getting that money, they want to spend more than they make, right?
Yeah.
Let alone
it was mentors.
Yeah,
Mike, it was mentors, man. I mean, I honestly, I feel like I'm one of the most blessed people because I just feel like I had these people that were in my life that they were pouring into me. Do this. And I was showing up to trainings, and I was learning, and I was reading books. I was training my brain every single day, man. And I was just getting really, really smart. And not that I'm like a genius. I mean, because the truth is I'm not that smart of a person. I mean, my IQ is probably not that high. Honestly, like I quit college. I was never good in school. Believe it or not, I got a good story for you. When I was about 14 years old, I was a little hoodlum, man. I mean, I went out and did all kinds of crazy, stupid shit.
Where were you, in LA or at that time?
Well, at the time I was probably in San Dimas, but LA County, but actually my buddy, his mom lived down in Newport Beach. And we used to go down to Newport Beach, and his mom, she probably had an alcohol problem or something, because she'd be passed out by like 9 or 10 o'clock at night. We'd run the streets, and we would go and try to open up cars, and then we would steal sunglasses and change in the ashtray and, whatever we could find. Well, one night we went out, and I found this boombox radio. You remember those, right?
Yep.
And I was actually a break dancer in the early
B-boy.
Yep. And so I grabbed this boombox radio, and we ran. And I get back to the house, and in the cassette tape was a tape of Jack Canfield, the guy that wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul. Mm-hmm. I still have the boombox radio. And I was 14 at the time, and I still have the tape cassette to this day. And it's just, it was called Self-Esteem and Peak Performance. And I started to learn, and this is what this one tape, and I never listened to any other tapes. It was like a tape series. One tape, it taught me how to ask for what I wanted. And I'm 14 years old. And I listened to the tape probably 100 times. And it changed my life, honestly.
That's great, man. I love it. Well, let me ask you this. How did you differentiate between the mentors that you'd listen to and then the people that were telling you not to get into what you got into? Because
Well, I mean,
they're trying to be your mentors as well. So at that age, you
right.
remember back, like, how did you differentiate between the two?
It was really easy, man. This is the way I thought about it. I was like, if you're not where I want to be, I ain't listening to you, bro. You know what I mean? Like this guy was making $1 million a year, and he's teaching me what he did to become financially independent and get rich. And I'm like, why am I going to listen to this jackass, one of my buddies that has no money, that's making $8 an hour and thinks he knows it all? And his parents, they're probably doing okay, but they're not even that rich, and they're telling me what to do. And it's like,
Yep.
it was really like, I don't know why. Like, I don't know why in my brain at 21, I'm thinking in my mind, I'm going, like, how come people don't get this? Like, why do you want to go to college forever, get a good job, and work for a company for the rest of your life? Like, I was just so against that, because I saw the way my mentor was living, and I saw his life, and I thought, he gets to get up when he wants to get up. He gets to travel when he wants to travel. He gets to do what he wants to do. He never has to go in the office. And he's got, thousands of agents. He's got, tons of passive income coming in, whether he works or he doesn't work. And I'm going, like, I want that life. That
Right. Right.
I was attracted to that life.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this though. So I I can sleep into when I want to as well, but I don't because I feel like I have a duty to go after things. Like
Right.
I have something like a gift, right? And a gift in the fact that I can lead, inspire, I can build companies, I can build people. And I feel like it's my obligation, whether my money's right or not. And so I
Right.
can't, like, when I wake up in the morning, even if I could like just sleep all day if I wanted to, I just can't do it. So
Right.
how do you keep your drive? If you're set free, you have the freedom that you've always wanted. Where's your drive come from, or what are you shooting for? Speak on that a little bit.
Well, I mean, really, things changed for me a couple of years ago. I had a cousin, or actually, yeah, he was like, well, no, he's like a nephew of
Mhm.
mine, and he was 18, or no, he was 21 years old, and he came over to my house for like Thanksgiving or something like that. And he said, and then so he comes into our house and he's taking pictures and Snapchat and Instagram, and he's like, all excited about our house and all this stuff, and I'm thinking, I never talked to him about my business. I never tried to recruit him. I never tried to, like like I got this great life, but yet I never even offered it to him. And I kind of felt bad. And literally, like the next day, I had him and his girlfriend come to my house. I recruited them on the spot. And now they didn't last. I mean, unfortunately, they didn't last too long in the business, but it was like, that's what kind of kicked me off about 2 years ago, to kind of get back in the game and to start recruiting and training and building, because I felt like, why is that fair? My life is forever been changed, and I'm not going to give that opportunity, that chance to anybody else. And I kind of felt a little bit selfish, and I said, you know what? I'm going to go to work, man. I'm going to see what I can do. And so my goal was to do what it took me 20 years to do. My goal is to do it in 5. So with ads and leads now, because we didn't have lead generation
Right.
like we have it today, and especially my business. I mean, I can target market an 18 to 35-year-old that's a stud, that's coachable, that's, ambitious, money motivated, leadership skills, communication skills. I can identify that right person and say, come in business with me, I'll change your life. We couldn't do that 20 years ago. And so today is a great time.
Right. Right. And is that what's your, if you, do you have like a 10 to 30-second pitch that you use? And then,
You know what?
and then do you feel
No,
comfortable sharing it on here?
No,
I'll
no,
just,
no, 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 no. I look. I mean, it's funny because I did a live last night, Instagram live, and a guy asked me like, how do you remotivate somebody that's unmotivated, or how do you recruit somebody, whatever. And I said, it's the coolest thing right now, because what I say is I literally will tell somebody, look, I don't want to waste your time, and I know you don't want to waste my time. Are you coachable? Do you have leadership skills, communication skills, and are you highly money motivated. And if he doesn't say yes to every one of those things, then I'm not going to try to recruit the guy. But once he says yes to every one of those things, I say, look, you're probably the right person. Now, what I'd like to do is I'm going to share you a little bit about what I do for families and what I do as a company. I own a financial services company. We do investments and insurances. All that's easy to learn. But what I can't teach you is all that stuff I asked you if you had, because those things are ingrained in you right now. If you got it, you got it. You're the right person. Let's do this. And that's pretty similar to what I'll say to somebody, getting them in the business.
Right now, how did you get the podcast started? Tell me the story about that.
You know what? Actually, it happened, because of Grant Cardone, actually. So actually, it was a buddy of mine in my same industry. And he was talking to me about going to 10X. And he's like, man, you need to go to 10X. You need to go to 10X. You need to go. And I was like, I don't know. I love Grant Cardone. I've always loved Grant Cardone. But I was like, I don't know if I want to go to, it didn't appeal to me. And I go to big events all the time. And I just didn't want to go to another motivational thing, and the guy's like, just come on, man, just come. So anyways, so I go to Vegas. This was when he had it in Vegas, the first time he had it in Vegas. And so I show up. I love it. The first guy I met was a guy named Hank Norman.
Yeah.
And Hank and me and Hank Norman became friends. And he, I started working with his media company, and they started teaching me how to do the podcast. And that was the beginning of, me doing the podcast.
Gotcha. And then what's the topic of your podcast? Your business strictly, or do you have another?
Well, it's Wealth on the Beach podcast. And we basically talk. I mean, the truth is I try to find out a lot about the person. I want to know how they grew up. I want to know what their parents did. I'm trying to dissect the person and find out why are they successful and so many other people are not. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people? And so we talk about money. We talk about, we talk about investments. We talk about, any subject when it comes to business and money and finance and things like that.
Yeah. What's a great thing about this podcast is I get to have guests on. I help promote them. So it's a win-win situation because I get a library of content and I can ask anything I want. And I try to think of the best questions that I would think, not for myself, just to be selfish, because I do that as well, but also for my listeners and the followers of the Waymo crew to really try to think about what they would want to hear. And, it's an awesome opportunity. And then when you're done, you have this recording and you have your own library.
That's it.
You know what I mean? And so you have, and by the way, some people that I bring on, and you're probably one of them, you would charge time for an hour with someone to coach them or let them ask you questions. And again, this is a win-win situation. So that's the biggest thing I think I've gotten out of my podcast is the fact that being able to do that. And besides totally. The exposure of it,
And the truth is, Mike, I've made so many new friends during the process too, man. I mean, that has been a really cool thing. We've followed up with a lot of people on the podcast, and they become our new friends. It's really cool.
Yeah, and if you heard a buzzing in the background, we have our kids at home now, and we have them on a schedule. And so for you listeners wondering about what that noise was, just so you know, I have my kids on a schedule because it's structured and our life is a lot better. We had basically a week's worth of really trying to get them on the schedule and get them structured. And now that they like it and they even feel better, which they fought it at first, so.
I'm totally doing that, dude. I'm totally doing that.
I can send you a copy of what we did just so you can see it. How old are your kids?
Do it. 17 and 14.
Okay. I have a 13 and a 7-year-old. So, and besides fighting, man, I feel like a referee sometimes, so, but so Daniel, and how can my listeners connect with you and then any services that you have to offer? Because I am all about helping anybody that comes on this show benefit in some way.
Well, look, man, my goal for what I'm trying to accomplish here is I'm just trying to add as much value to the world as possible, man. I want people to check out the Wealth on the Beach podcast, iTunes, Spotify, all that good stuff. Go to alonzoacademy.com. My story is there. So if somebody really wants to dissect me and go like, who is this guy? You know, I'm on Instagram every day. I post all kinds of valuable content, just my ideas and thoughts. I mean, look, I'm real big on leadership. You know, I'm really big on leading from the front. Like, I'll never ask you to do anything that I have not done before or not willing to do. And I just believe in, you know, teaching people how to be better leaders. And I think that, you know, I used to tell people all the time, look, the leaders are the ones that make all the money. So if you want to make a lot of money, which a lot of your listeners probably want to make a lot of money, you know, they're going to have to step up and be the leader. They're going to have to take charge. You know, you talked about the podcast, and I was telling some people yesterday, like, look, I mean, you're going to have to start a podcast. You're going to have to break out of your shell. You're going to have to get on Instagram and post tons of content. You're going to have to be up late at night trying to think of ideas and be creative and not do the same thing over and over again, trying to get a different result. And so I just think that, look, that's why I'm doing it. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I want to give massive value to the world, but I also want to really let people know that I'm willing to do it first. I'm willing to make it happen first. And I've been proving that the model is really working well, man.
I love it, man. That's awesome. So let me ask you, what's a normal day for you, schedule wise?
Well, I mean, look, I go to my office. Well, this is before the quarantine.
Yeah.
Okay? So we're all on quarantine.
Everything's
right
different now. We don't know what you're going to do after the quarantine, but before, what was it like?
Exactly. Before the quarantine, I mean, literally, I mean, I get up, you know, maybe say 6:30 in the morning. I work out, you know, do some meditation, you know, maybe even listen to an audio book or something like that. Jump in the shower, get dressed, have breakfast. And then literally I'll sit at my, a lot of times I'd be at my kitchen table. That's where I have my laptop there. I hate going into an office. It's really weird. Even in my home office, I hate going in my office. And I would just be anywhere. Like right now I'm working a lot out of my dining room, and I just have kind of things set up. I've been doing a lot of my training meetings and things like that. But anyways, before I would show up to my office on Monday morning for about 2 hours. I do a training on Monday morning. Tuesday night, I would do my we just call it basically like an opportunity night, where we'd have new people come in, we'd share the opportunity with them. And then, so that would be for a couple of hours. And then on Saturday, I'd show up for a couple hours in the morning to the office. These are like mostly training meetings. And then Sunday night, I'd do a conference call, maybe about 5:30 to 6 o'clock at night. Other than that, okay, so that's, you know, 4, 6, you know, maybe 8 hours, 7 hours worth of stuff. And then the rest of the time, really, it's whatever I want to do. You know, now if I'm really working and I'm really focused, I'm a little bit weird in the sense that, like, I like to be in my car. All right, so I'll just go in my car and I'll make phone calls. Like if I want to make a crap load of phone calls, or I want to, you know, reach out to a bunch of people or inspire a bunch of new agents that just got on board, or talk to some old agents to kind of remotivate them or whatever to get going, then I'll go sit in my car for 3-4 hours in some cases, right in front of a Starbucks or something like that. And I'll make calls, tons and tons of calls. And I've done that for years and years. I don't do that every day, but that's when I'm going to get focused. Like on a Sunday night, maybe I'll be like, all right, guys, I'm leaving for a couple of hours. And I'd go out and you know, and then in between all that, maybe I'd have a couple of appointments. I've been doing a lot of Zoom appointments. Even before the quarantine, I was doing a lot of Zoom appointments. I was doing a lot of just phone calls, FaceTimes, different things like that, where I was bringing people in through that method versus actually going physically to their houses. So I was kind of prepared for this quarantine, believe it or not, more than most people, because I was actually working this play even before.
Yeah, our mortgage business we set a record in March, and we're probably going to set another record in April going through all this. And one of the things about the leadership of our company, 3 years ago, they decided to let's get mobile, because now we have access to some of the best talent, and we don't have to worry about where our branches are located. So my processors, like two of my processors don't even live. I mean, I'd have to fly to wherever they are, and they're fantastic people, Probably would have never met them before if we didn't do that. So then when this came along, it took us 3 days to get everybody remote, and we did it way before we were even required to. So our business just it just kept rolling. So
rocking, man. Good for you, Mike. Great job, man.
Thank you. And that goes to the leadership of our company and our IT department. They were fabulous in that. Now, I'm going to end on this question here. I talk about people building all the time. You do the financial services. I do mortgages. I do the podcast, and then I have the coaching company. But what we're really doing, we have a vehicle, but we're really building people. And if you think about everything that you've done over the years, you had to build people, right? So speak on that for a second, because I always talk about that. Every day I get up, man, it's, we do home loans and help people get their houses and all that, but really we build people. And not just my employees, but the real estate agents that we work with, we help develop them, because a lot of times they don't have guidance whatsoever. And so all around, it's in building people. And the more you can build people, the more successful you are, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's called pushing up people. I mean, so you have to believe in always pushing up people. So I want people to become more successful, because the more, I mean, especially in my business, the more successful people I have. I mean, we have 47 locations now. We have 1,500 licensed agents. I mean, and so the 1,500 licensed agents are being, led by 47 people. And so it is, to me, if we don't push those people up and help those people continue to be successful, then we lose momentum and we lose market share and of course revenue. So to me, it's a no-brainer. So every day I get up, I go, all right, yesterday, I was sitting in my car yesterday. I actually went out for a couple hours yesterday, and I was making a couple of calls, and I said, I was leaving them video messages, and I was just saying, look, I just want you to know I'm really proud of you, and I'm really excited about what you're doing. And the month you had in March, I mean, you're just a special person, man. I mean, you're somebody that is going to do something unbelievable here. And I just want to let you know you're appreciated, man. I just want to let you know you're special. And I always try to keep these messages maybe within 30 seconds or a minute or something like that. But, instead of writing a little handwritten card, which I'm not good at that, I like to leave them little video messages and let them know that they're special and they mean something to me. And they're not just a number, but they're part of my family now. We care about these people. They call me up at 2:00 in the morning and they need a ride because they're stuck on the side of the road. You know what? I'm going to go drive and pick them up. That's what these people mean to me, because my life is great because I have a lot of great people. My life is not great because I'm so great. My life is great because I got a lot of kick-ass people that are amazing.
Yeah. Brandon Dawson?
I don't know.
So he works with Grant now for Cardone Ventures, but he was speaking the other day, and him and someone else, and I was listening to these people talk about businesses that thrive are the ones that find people that are almost they'll never probably be as passionate as the leader, but almost as passionate as the leader, where they're up all night thinking, like you said. They can't sit, they're just so excited, and they work like there's no days that are like a weekend. It's not a weekend, man. I just work when I need to work and get stuff done.
Right.
When you have that alignment, it's a game changer. There's no limits to what you can accomplish, right? So in what you do, if you were to so if you were to stop doing what you do, right? Because you said you got a recharge recently. You got recharged a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But if you just stopped what you're doing, would your business still stay going?
Oh yeah. Matter of fact, I mean, they don't need me. I mean, half of my organization right now, probably half to 60% of my business right now, I have zero contact with them. They are completely independent. They do their own thing. I mean, we have offices up north. We have offices in Vegas. We have, offices even in the surrounding area. I have some really good leaders, but because I think after a certain period of time working with somebody in my business, or even an income level, they'll get to a certain amount of money that they're making. They want to be the leader.
Yeah.
They don't want me to be the leader anymore. You know what I mean? They're like, I'm running my own show. I'm running my own deal. Just step out of my way, Daniel. And I've been at least, gracious enough to be able to say, dude, go for it, man.
Right.
hallelujah, you know,
I'm
good
here for
luck,
you if you
man.
need me.
Go for it.
Yeah.
If you need me, I ain't going nowhere. But I mean, these guys, I got guys that have not called me or had a conversation with these people in 5 years. I'm not even kidding. Like 5 years, they've been completely independent, doing their own thing, making big money, having a great life. So that's why, and that's security. And that's why I teach leadership, by the way, is because I don't want you to be dependent on me for the rest of your life. I want you to become a real leader and to be the one in charge so you can run your own and build your own empire without me. You don't need me to build your empire. If you become good enough, and some of these guys, they'll be better than me. They'll make more money than I ever made. And that's great for everybody.
Well, guys, listen, go follow Daniel Alonzo on Instagram. It's Daniel Alonzo. That's how it is, right? That's at Daniel Alonzo. That's all
At
it is.
Daniel Alonzo.
Nothing
Yep,
fancy.
simple.
And,
That's it, man.
I connected with him via Instagram. And by the way, guys, if you have the opportunity, if you have an Instagram account, I don't care how many followers you have, start following people and shoot messages out to them. Just shoot and connect because it works. Don't be scared. It's a numbers game. And the ones that connect, spend time, focus on them, see how you can help them. That's the key. Don't try to get something out of them. Try to help them. And, your world will change if you do that. So thank you very much for coming on the show, Daniel. I'm glad that we connected. And if there's anything I can ever do for you, let me know. All you got to do is shoot me a message or give me a shout, man.
All right, man. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate your time. Y'all have a great day, and just make sure you dream bigger, but make sure you do it now.
Thanks, man. And you guys have been listening to the What Are You Made Of podcast with Mike C-Roc. Go subscribe. Please share with your friends and family. We appreciate all of your support. iTunes, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform. And also the YouTube channel, Mike C-Roc Ciorrocco. You can watch these things if you like to watch instead of listen. And so we'll see you next time, guys.